Pod forms a lot of the time, and in my presentation you will see them. They're sort of open forms, and they're built from pieces of paper clay like this, which I put a texture on, and I'm going to show you how I do that now. Not exactly rocket science, but I will have to come down here so people can see. Oops. And you throw. Normally I have a black slip, which is sort of dark green, on a whiter clay for contrast, but I just use some of your Seungho on this, and then I sort of rip them into pieces. And it doesn't really matter what happens, because you can just rip bits off if you don't like the way it is, make it a nicer texture. And I like this, it's much more organic and natural than a sort of a cut form. I'll just prepare a few, and then I'm going to show you how I build it around there. So I started out as a thrower, and I'm still throwing clay, but in a different way. Oh yeah, well, on the wheel, working on the wheel. Yeah. And then I like to use some clay that's white, like, or without the Seungho. So, a few slices. This is for getting some nice texture. Sometimes I roll. The net that oranges come in, you roll that in, or string, or a nice textured material. And then,
Write your formats.
Huh?
Write your formats.
Yeah. That'd be good fun, Tom.
There we are. So when you have a few pieces prepared, I normally leave them on plastic to stop them drying out. Then I take, like this, a box or a piece of wood, cover it with paper so that when the piece is made, I can just technically, or in theory, pull it off the box. Yeah, like this. So then I start to build. So you take a piece like this, and then you look around and you see for a nice piece to do that. You just slip. You stick it on. Your slapper. And another one here. Yeah, just the same clay. And I usually work from the top down. It looks more natural than sort of putting this piece over a piece underneath. It's nicer with this. Yeah. Around the corner. Oh, a bit of sponge.
Spongy?
Yeah, this one of the ones over there. The sponge, you know, the sponge underneath the table.
Ah, okay.
Thanks, Richard. As I go around, I just rest the piece on the sponge. Do another textured one.
이거는 키티한 거랑 비슷한 거.
나오셨어요? 예.
This one under here. I sort of don't plan it, but I look at the pieces and decide what I think looks nice. So sometimes I have to in here. This is a bit thin, so I will add another piece over it. Just rip off a little piece. Needs a bit of reinforcement down here. Actually, with this I can do it this way. And then you sort of normally I fire these in an electric kiln, a bisque fire, and then when I refire I rub copper carbonate in and it emphasizes the texture, and I refire then in the electric kiln, and that gives a nice finish that's sort of organic. It's not. I don't like to plan. I don't decorate.
그냥 이제 보통은 그 전기 가마에서 이렇게 구하는데 그래서 이제 이런 이은 부분 이런 데들은 그러니까 탄산동 저걸 이렇게 집어넣어서 이렇게 씻어준대요. 그래서 이거를 더 이제 그 자연스럽게 오가닉하게 이렇게 나오는다고 그래요.
It's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. And you just have to make sure that the seams are joined, but without pressing too hard.
그래서 잘 접착된 부분 잘 됐나.
저쪽에는 뭐 유약을 바른 거죠? 유약을 바른
아,
거죠?
이거 여기 쓰는 요건 보통 집에서 여기 J&A 집에서 쓰는 거는 다른 걸 쓰는데 여기 쓰는 거 우리 쓰는 그 그거 있죠 그 도덕 화장토 겸 유약 겸 쓰는 거.
색감을 조절하기 위해서 칠한 거 있고 안 칠한 거 있고 섞어서.
그냥 특별하게 꼭 뭐서 정확하게 계산하고 이런 건 아닌데.
And because I like this little bit of texture here, I'm going to put the next piece underneath it. So,
거기에 질감 이제 거기에 좋고 그래서
Yeah, it's just a nice strip.
연결하겠다고요.
couple of pieces. One more bit.
붓으로 바르는 부르면 되죠? 그냥 흙 가라앉혀.
So that is it. I will leave it to dry the other way, but there you can see. But I leave it this way, and then when it's a little bit drier, I just take the box out.
Does it crack very often? Get cracks in it?
No, not. I think this would be too thin for the
Yeah.
wood fire, but for in the electric kiln, no, only a couple of times when I just wasn't careful enough in the joints,
Yeah.
and that's when it's cracked. And when I build them over a balloon, sometimes if I don't take them off the balloon quickly enough, there's a little bit of, but I can, because it's paper clay, I can just stick another piece back on.
Yeah.
And if you take the balloon out too soon, it goes It just, so you have to know exactly.
Do that again and let me get a close up.
You have to know exactly when to do the balloon, burst it.
And the second time you fire it in the electric kiln, how high do you fire it?
It depends on the clay. If it's terracotta, I'll go to
Low.
about 1100. If it's porcelain, I'll go to 1250. Don't go too much higher than that because there's not a lot of support. Sometimes the porcelain's inclined to slump in.
Yeah.
I use usually a white raku clay that I make into paper clay, and it's really strong now, and so I can go to 1280 in it if I want to, or I can go to 1180.
Yeah.
Normally I go to about 1180 with it because there's no need to go any higher.
Yeah.
So the other technique I'm going to show you is my coiling, which I do now. I coil, but in a slightly different way. I started this one yesterday, and when it's finished, it will stand up like that. I have one inside I can show you. I don't use any slip with these.
I will bring along.
Okay, carefully. It's not that big, but it's bigger than this. So I make a coil. Again, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit fatter and thinner because it adds to the sort of organic shape. Then I flatten it.
We're using cotton 기법을 이용해서
Yeah, that's it. I won't work. You can leave it. You can stand free. It's okay. It shouldn't fall over. Wait, no, okay, maybe. No, it does rock a little bit, but it's okay. It's a rocking pot. So this is. Yeah. I'm not going to leave it here. So that's the sort of form I'm building here. And you start on one side, and then you go on the other side, and then you join in the middle.
Oh no, you got my sticks.
So this is the form that I'm going to be doing here. But I'll actually just put it on here now. Safer. So I make a coil, a sort of flat coil, and I bend it.
요거는 저기
And then
페이퍼 그립, 이 저기 지점토 여기 와서 이번에 지점토를 따로 만들었어요. 그러니까 흙하고 신문지, 화장지 등을 섞어서 이렇게 만든 겁니다. 유럽에서는 이게 많이 지금 알려졌어요. 그래서 그거를 살 수도 있습니다. 지점토를. 정말 한 봉지 어디 나네 그래 저쪽에서 이렇게 한 봉지 가져온 것도 있는데 그래서 판매하는 거는. 그래서 이 지점토는 이 수축 같은 것이 이제 거의 없고 드물고 갈라지고 그런 것도 없고 아주 얇게도 만들 수 있고 그래서 아까 제인이 아까 보면서도 아까 갈라지는 그런 일이 없나 그러냐니까 가끔씩은 조금 그럴 수도 있지만 그때 지점토로 이렇게 보내주면 되니까 그런 얘기를 했었어요.
그럼 가격이 어떻게 된다요?
가격이
어떻게 돼요?
가격
값이.
무슨 가격?
이거 흙 가져왔다면?
이게 보통 점토보다는 비싸고 근데 유럽 흙들이 한국 흙보다는 많이 비쌉니다. 이렇게 비교는 안 되고 보통 그 점토보다는 좀 비싸요.
네.
그거는 그 화도는요?
화도는 어떤 흙을 가지고 만드느냐에 따라서 틀리고 그리고 아까 그 제인이 한 얘기 중에서 이제 그 소성 온도에 대해서 얘기했는데 그거는 뭐 흙에 따라서 틀리는데 뭐 유럽에서 이제 판단하는 그런 흙들을 사가지고 거기다 이제 섞어서 해오려고 그래서 전에는 뭐 한 그 흙에 따라서 뭐 1160에서
그렇죠.
다른 흙들은 뭐 1300 올라가면 괜찮은 흙들이고.
So I pinch it like this, and then And then I reinforce it on the inside just to support this join here, because otherwise it gets very weak. So I get a skinny piece, and it gets a little hard near the end, and you're trying to get your fingers in, finish off the last bits. This is easy enough. Just push it in.
그 이음메인 부분을 조금 더 튼튼하게 해줘도 조금 대주는 겁니다.
Smoothen it all out. I won't bother you with now, but I'll do it afterwards.
이게 단순한 조형물인가요? 용도가 있나요?
네, 조형물이죠.
목이 이렇게 가는 거 아니야?
대형 틀니 같기도 하고.
하나 커요, 안 나요.
So you work it in on the inside, and then I get my magic sponge. Well, I have a great bit of sponge, but I can't find it just now. So I sponge on the inside, and I also sponge around here. Thank you. These are brilliant sponges from Mud Tools. Mud Tools in America.
Michael Sherrill.
knows them too.
Michael Sherrill. Michael Sherrill makes many tools. Lives in North Carolina.
이렇게 이게 미국에서 이런 그
And you can get them in the post. You can get them on the internet.
만드는 그런
네.
그 회사가 있대요. 거기서 구해온 거라는데. Is the natural one or the man-made one?
It's man-made, but it just lasts really well, and you can. It's the best artificial one, and it costs practically. It's very cheap.
메이크업하는 파운데이션 컴팩트 스펀지도 가능할 것 같아요.
You can try. Yes, we
Yeah.
try.
We in Ireland we don't have natural sponges just growing, so they're really expensive.
Plus they're endangered, so
Yes,
it's best not to
exactly.
use them.
Yeah.
What is the danger?
The
natural.
natural
Yeah,
Why is
it's
They're being they're
Exploited too
dying
much?
out. They're not living very much, and when you take them out, you're hurting the environment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not so good to use natural, the real ones. Better, I mean, nice, but it's not good
Well,
for
I
the
find
sponge.
this actually
Yes,
so
I think that's good.
And they go hard if you leave them dry, and then as soon as you put them into the water. Yeah. And as they wear out, you can just cut a little bit off and things. But, yeah.
I will send you one.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right. I will use it to
And I
make
hope
up.
Michael Sherrill knows about my plugging
Pause
his.
them.
Yeah. Michael Sherrill invents tools, and so he gives me.
Okay,
Free.
right.
So I will
This
send
is the way they come when you buy it.
Yeah.
It comes like this.
Yes.
And the first time I said, "What the hell is that?" And then they told me it was a sponge and it was really good. So
Is it hard
put it in
now?
yeah.
Yes, but you wet it.
I'm not going to wet that now, so
I
I don't want to wet it because I want to keep it like that for now.
Elle doit l'humidifier. Ouais, mais tout le monde colle parce que ça s'appelle son
Thank you.
So,
간단하고 즐겨.
anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Are there any more questions? Anything
Any
anyone wants to
질문
know?
거 있어요? 질문 있어요?
There will be more things I will be showing in my presentation. There will be more information about the actual pieces as well. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to just
Is
stand
that-
there and watch me coiling.
Is that paper clay as well?
This is all paper clay, yeah.
Very lightweight.
그래, 또 다른 그 작품에 관해서는
stop
여기 이제
this?
그 프레젠테이션 할
Just press the red
적에
button again.
네, 이제 얘기를